and welcome to the Don't You Know I'm Loco podcast. We are three cousins looking to break generational curses by sharing our mental health and healing journeys. Join me, Candy,
Lisa.
and
Rene.
as we talk about the things we're not supposed to talk about. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
There's a fourth voice in the room. For those of you that are listening and not watching, we have a guest. It's my baby sister, Dianna.
Yay!
Welcome back.
Welcome back to our
Thank you.
channel. She's back for a lighter discussion. If you guys remember, she was on for the suicide episode. And we had a conversation, and she basically was like, "Can I come on for a lighter topic?" So that's what she's here for. We're gonna be talking about what, Rene? What are we talking about?
Dating.
While
and
healing.
healing. While healing. Yeah.
I cut you off guard.
You did. I was like, what? What's going on?
Yeah. I'm like, pop quiz.
I was like, oh no.
My eyes
We're next.
went to like deer. Like I saw deer headlights right now.
I hate that.
I don't know why.
I
You would've
know.
won.
You guys
That's
are
so funny.
Cut you off guard. That's all it was. So yeah, today that's what we're talking about. So let's get into some challenges. I'll go first. So last week I had my second appointment with my new therapist. And she kind of was like leaving it up to me. Like, I thought she was gonna ask me questions, and she was like, "So what do you want to talk about?" Or, "So what's going on?" And I was like, "You're not gonna ask me anything? Like, what?" And she was like, "No, I'm just gonna like observe you." So I was like, "Okay." So we talked about some things, and I realized that there was some like residual like emotions that I had suppressed. And I didn't realize that that's what I was doing. And basically she was like, you kind of like, I expect the same like effort that I give to people for people to get back to me, and they don't. And she's like, you can't, you know, sometimes, you know, it's not in their capacity to do that, and you can't expect them to. And I'm like, okay, I get that. So that was like, I like cried my eyes out when I was in the middle of it, because I was like saying all these things, and she was like, okay. And she gave me a exercise to do, like a breath work exercise to center myself. And I was like, oh. And I noticed that when I was doing it, she would tell me like breathe in and then breathe out, but I was breathing out through my nose and not my mouth. And that is a bigger release. Yeah. And so like once I realized that I was doing that, I stopped, and then I started to exhale through my mouth, and then it's like your whole gut, like, you know, it just releases everything. And then it's like a balloon. Yeah, it's like a really good feeling. Like it's like, okay. And I was like, I noticed that like I was just breathing in and out, and not a full exhale out of my body, like. Because it's like, it's restricted. So cool. And I was like, okay. But yeah, my challenge was that I didn't realize that I still have some stuff back there.
I think there's just so much, and it's so like packed in there that like when you know, discover something, there's like 3 or 4 little other things that are like that led to something, you know, like it just all connects, and you're like, dang.
Yeah.
Like, where did that come from, you know?
Yeah, because I was like, what? I didn't even know I was feeling this way, but okay. But yeah, that was my challenge.
There was this one time, one of my therapists had mentioned that, like, to visualize like a balloon like inside your tummy. And like when you're releasing it, you're like getting all the air out. So like when you're like breathing and you're like letting all the air out, it's almost like an extra like like, you know, to really get it out, you know. It's so good. I love that. I love that. So you felt that, like,
I felt the release. Yeah, like, oh shit, okay, that's why. Like, I'm not even doing this one right. Like,
but I think because you're so more open to it, and you're more like, you know what to look for, and you know, I mean, I don't know, but it just seems like you could see it in yourself.
Like I'm like, oh, okay, you're not
That's so
doing it
cool.
right. Like, why are you still holding back? Like, it's
Uh-huh.
not gonna work unless you
Yeah.
put it. Échale ganas. Like,
Uh-huh.
put some.
Yeah.
What did put some gusto. That's what Max said. The equivalent of échale ganas was put some gusto in it. I was like, what? But yeah. How about you guys? You guys have any challenges?
I'll go. One of my challenges that has been carrying over is accepting who I am now and how it comes that I'm not the same person that I was before. So I can't give it 100% all the time. I need to like stop expecting in my brain that I have to give 100% because I don't have 100% to give, right? Like 50% goes to work, 25 goes to my daughter, and then, and then I have school, and then I have the podcast, and then it's like I have to stop trying to give 100% everywhere. So I can't give it 100%. Like I have to cut it in pieces, and in order for my life to like to go, and like it's nice because I'm able to like accept it and kind of like get it off my shoulders that it's like, okay, you're only setting like your own expectations and like you don't have to, like exceed those. Like you don't have to like,
you're giving yourself grace.
Exactly. And I'm having trouble with that. And I think that's my challenge is because it's like I'm almost annoying myself when I don't when I'm not able to get everything that I wanted to get done.
Yeah.
So that's where it kind of gets, but that's okay.
Insert stop trying to be the perfect prima.
No.
La prima perfecta.
No. I actually, who do you guys think you are?
I don't know. So, for some context, yesterday we went to a reading / book signing for Tías and Primas by Prisca Dorcas. Her book is one of the books that we referenced here on the podcast. So we went, she was here at UNLV, so we went to go see her yesterday. And in her book, Tías and Primas, she gives different, she talks about different tías, like La Prima Perfecta, the street start.
Like their description.
Yeah, all the like, so she like talks about them and then, so that's what Lisa's talking about. Which, what does she think she, And so when she talks about the prima perfecta, it's like she doesn't know how to do anything but be the perfect, like what her parents raised her to be. She doesn't know how to decipher what's her and what's her upbringing. And like wanting to put, like, what did she say? Like she doesn't even know how to like
chill,
like
relax,
live for herself. She's too busy trying to keep up her parents' reputation. So that's what that is.
You think you are,
which
I think you are definitely mixed with
what, me? What am I?
Yeah, I think so.
What?
La prima perfecta?
Me? I'm not perfect.
So.
Are you kidding me?
No, but I mean, like you strive to be and you like live your life like that, like where. But I think you've gotten way better, like releasing that and not being so hard on yourself, and
Yeah, I'm the tía loca, the childless tía, the tía escandalosa.
That's what in the book says you can be
all of them.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
I
good,
mean, we have all these multiple personalities that we have to have them, like,
Yeah.
We give you a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm more of like the streetwise.
The street smart.
Street smart. Only because like, and I'm just now discovering it that I need to pass a lot of my stuff down because I hold on to a lot of stuff and I just pack it and pack it and pack it. And then I've realized that I've done a lot of cool shit, dude. Like a lot of cool shit. And it's coming out now where I'm like, why haven't I ever told anybody this? Like, and I leave my daughter at like with her mouth open because she's like, you've done that? Like you went there and you've been there? And it's like, oh yeah, I never really say that. But my point of that is like I have so much to share, and and that's like my thing is like I want to help. Like I just want to help, you know? So that's my way of like trying to figure my life out right now, because it's just it changes and You know,
Yep.
just gotta roll with the punches.
Well, I'm glad you're giving yourself grace, and you can't do
Mhm.
everything. Can't, because you can't fill from an empty cup. Remember, we always say that. So, yep. What about you, Rene? Rene.
Rene. So it's a very similar to what you guys are talking about, like where I'm realizing I need to work on myself more still. Like there's things like Candy said, like I didn't realize were there. Like why my abandonment, like why I isolate when I something happens. I like to isolate. And I realize it's a lot from when we were younger, from stuff that we learned from our parents and mainly our mothers, right? Like, because that's who the nurturing is.
That's where we learn from.
Yeah, that's where we learn from. And just learning stuff about that. Like, it's funny because my sister and I were raised by the same mom, but it was like we were raised by different moms.
Really?
Crazy to think about that. My sister was always seen through a microscope, right? Like you guys remember, like every little thing. My mom, and it happened because her mom did to them, right? So with me, it was opposite. It was like I wasn't seen. Like I felt like I wasn't seen because she was too busy criticizing my sister, and things like when I used to go to high school at Bosco, right? You know, Bosco, I couldn't walk home, right? It was like 7 miles from my house, so every time she picked me up late. Like I was always the last kid there. So I was always like, wait, why? Like I didn't think about it until now. Back then I was just like, fuck, this sucks. But now I'm like, wait, you kind of put whatever you were doing first. I didn't ask to go to that school. Like I didn't say, hey, drop. Like I couldn't drive there. So a lot of that is like coming back. I'm like, oh shit, like that's why I isolate, and that's why, and I'm working. So now to combat that, I'm starting to work on myself more. Like every morning, I take 2 hours to do like self healing type stuff, like reading the book that I'm reading, how to do the work. So that's how I'm combating it. I was like, all right, I need to do more work. Like,
good job,
So
Good for you.
I have like a kind of like a rigid routine now, where after that I work out, like after like at around 11 and stuff. So yeah,
We love routine.
yeah.
Like I have mine in the morning. I'll wake up, I'll work out, and then I'll read.
Nice.
Read like it was one of the books that you guys have mentioned on here when Crystal was on here. I read that, and then I make lunch, and then go on with everything else. But you always got to give yourself at least an hour or something for healing, and for working on your mental health.
Yeah.
Self-care mornings, guys.
Yeah.
Very important.
Or wherever you could fit it in.
Yeah. It's important though.
Yes, it is. I know. That's the whole reading books. I asked for my birthday. I asked for a reading chair so that I wouldn't sit in front of the TV. So that I could not watch TV because our couches are so comfortable, but like I'll fall asleep or like I'm watching TV and then I'm not reading. And so I got a recliner chair in the corner, and then that's where I read my books. And I was like, okay, this is cool. And it's funny because Fernando would come in and be like, nerds, because me and the dogs are like chilling, right? The dogs are like next to me. He's like, nerds. So we're reading. I was like, oh my God, shut up. We're taking care of ourselves. Self-care.
By the way, I call my dog, Kobe's my depression, and Shaki is my anxiety. Like I swear, like they take that from me.
Really?
Yeah,
no.
like Kobe will be like just all depressed, and I take Shaki on a walk. He's like, I'm like, you guys got it from me.
Oh my God,
took it from me.
Thanks for the generational wealth. Oh my gosh,
I love that.
Okay. So, do you have a challenge you want to talk about or no?
I do not.
Okay. We discussed this prior, so I knew that, but I just want to make sure you guys didn't think I excluded her. So like I said, we're talking about dating while healing today. Let's see. What? Oh, so Rene put some prompts up here, some questions. And the first one he put is, can you date while healing? Yes or no? Why? What do you guys think?
Yes and no. I don't know. I feel like it depends on the stage of healing. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, me, I did try dating while I was healing, we'll say like 2 years ago, and it went okay, I guess. Mm-hmm. I mean, nothing came out of it. But like now, if I were to start dating now, I feel like I just like, you see more like of people of stuff that you like. Sorry. I don't know, stuff that you're trying to get away from, or like your standards are like higher. Yeah. Once you start healing and working on yourself, you're like, oh no, I've seen this before. Yeah. I want nothing to do with that. And so
red flags.
Yeah. Yes. Like you could actually see the red flags.
Like just like conversations, or just like the way like they act. Like, okay, example. This one guy, I'm excited. This one guy, I got the tea. No, this one guy, we were talking, and we were FaceTiming, and I was getting ready to leave somewhere by myself. I was going to the tattoo shop, and I got all dressed. It was on Valentine's Day, so I was like, all nice, dressed nice, and I was like, oh, I look good. And he was like, you're conceited. I was like, oh hell no. Yeah. So I was like, okay, no, you're not hyping me up. So like, this is not it. But like also other conversations that I had with him, it was like, oh, he kind of like had, which is weird, he had issues with like women, and I was like I don't know, like it just seemed like you can kind of tell he had mommy issues, and so I was like, okay, no, we've already done that, we're not doing that again, like just like, but you do see a lot more red flags, I guess, once you start healing and working on yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I say the same thing. I think it's yes, but to a point, like you said, to a stage where you're yourself, you know what you like, you know what you don't like. I think from there on, because you'll know and you'll see it, because like, for instance, I started dating after my divorce. I gave myself a good year. I said, okay, I'm going to do a year, like, of dating. Because I wanted to see what's out there, like we're in Vegas, and like there's so many options.
That's why I don't want to be out there.
No, for real. That's what I thought I wanted. No, exactly. Well, that's what I thought in the beginning. Yeah. And then I was like, hold up. I still, there's a lot going on with me and stuff. So I definitely healed and well, not healed, but I started the healing process. And then once I got to a thing where I was like, I'm good. Like, I'm good by myself, right? Like, I have fun by myself. I went to games. I took my daughter to games. Like, I did whatever I wanted. I still do whatever I want to do, but that's where I wanted to get to a mentality where I'm like, I just want a partner. I just want someone to be like, oh, I want to go. Like, oh, okay. Like, doesn't like need anything from me. I don't need anything from them. Like I kind of wanted that, right? That's what I wanted when I was like, okay, I'll start dating, right? And yeah, like it's been good so far. I mean, yeah, there's been a lot of, variety. Oh my gosh, because they're coming from everywhere, right? They come from all over, United States. So you get different kind of cultures, even though they're like white or Hispanic or black or whatever. They could be whatever color, but wherever they're from, like that's how they're gonna act.
Midwest
and
culture,
it's so
weird. That's funny.
California.
Yeah. Depends on what part of California.
What part of California?
No cal,
for sure.
Makes a big
for
difference.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Me? Yeah, like you guys said, yes and no. I think the beginning, like when I started this journey last, whenever it was, July, I guess you can say, when I went to rehab, absolutely not. I was still trying to figure like even before that, I should have been dating. The non-healing Rene should not have been out there. Like, and now I feel like Dianna said, like you see more things and you're more cautious about like who you go out with, and before I did not do that. Before it's just like, oh, you want to date me? Okay, let's go. Oh, you're hot. Like, all right.
It's like an interview or in like an interrogation almost, because you're like, okay, wait, did he say that in the text? But he's saying something different on.
And I definitely learned that I needed to love who I was first before I threw myself out there again. And I did recently, and it went okay. Like, there's some things that I saw in me that I didn't think it would work out with her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I saw things in her that wouldn't, like, I didn't like, right? So I'm like, why are we pushing? Like, why are we gonna force this? Like, she was a cool person. It's just when it came to that, it just didn't work. And that's how I feel about that right now. Right now, yes, definitely, I can see myself dating again.
Good for you though, for seeing that. For you, for seeing that, and being like, you know what, this isn't it. You know, good for you, because I feel like old you would have been just.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the this book I'm reading, How to Do the Work, it says that you look for that chaos, whatever it was when you were a child. Like your body's used to that. And even though it might seem so illogical to do it, your body like seeks that. Seeks it. Yeah. So I was in those relationships that like my exes that I probably shouldn't have been, or
for sure.
And to be fair, I did a lot myself that I shouldn't have done, but so yes.
Well, I didn't start healing until I was in this relationship.
You
other way around.
He was like, "Come on, we're gonna save each other."
That's so awesome, though.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, and I always think about it, and I'm like, we should not have been together. Like, by the books, like, no, there's no way that we should have stayed together. There's no way that we should have worked. But we did, and I think it was because we were both ready to work on ourselves, and we kind of like, it was like we were in the sinking boat together, and we're like, okay, like we're gonna do this, we're gonna figure it out. And it's like, I was actually having a conversation with my mom today about, and I was like, you know what? Ever since we said we don't want to have kids, it kind of lifted a pressure off of us.
Yes.
And we enjoy each other a lot more. And it's like, we're not worried that we're going to mess somebody up, or, somebody's going to take our habits that we're like trying to, to better ourselves and stuff like that. And it's like, no, like I know for sure that I'm in this with you because we're not having kids, and we're married, but it would be a easier clean break right now, right? Because we don't have kids. And I'm like, no, but I still want to hang out with you, and I want to travel, and I want to do all these things with you that eventually, yes, we could do when we had after our kids or whatever. But I was like, no, we get to do all these cool things. And now, like I'm
right
not,
now.
Yeah, like I'm not insane in the membrane anymore, and we get to go do it and enjoy it, because I'm not going to be drunk and ruining and my anxiety and all of this stuff. And I was like, I'm so excited for this.
Candy.
So I was telling my mom, I was like, I feel like we enjoy each other a lot more now because it really released that, Yeah, and then especially because it was like, we're really not having kids. Like,
officially,
officially, we are not having kids. So I was like, okay, like, we're good. And so I'm like, that's cool. Like, this person chose me even after all my crazy, of my crazy, right off the bat. But yeah, so my healing started with that. But like prior to that, I was such a like broken person that I was trying to find somebody to fill me, and I was looking for validation from other people, and I was never gonna get that because it was something that I had to work on myself. I was trying to get the answer from other people or trying to get the love. That's what I wanted. I wanted somebody to love me, but I was the one that needed to love me.
Yes.
Nobody was ever going to fill that love bucket.
Yeah.
It needed to be
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Leave it in there. Leave it
That's
in there.
you. Good God.
Leave it in there.
Well, just to let you know, like you could totally see the love that you guys have for each other in the last few weeks that I've encountered. Like you guys, when Fernando started helping, totally different than I've seen you before. Right?
Yeah.
And huge difference. And I'm so like you have like this glow to you. You're just so happy, like childlike, you know? And especially when you guys are together, like you could tell like he genuinely loves you. Like he loves you like a best friend, like really like, you know, like your road dog. Like that's so cool. Because we don't really see that anymore. You know, married or not married, like you don't see the happiness like that. You don't see the love like that anymore. Or not anymore, but it's very rare, you know, and we can attest to that, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of it's supposed to be your best friend, like in a way, right? Like
I guess.
He's like tight. He's like second runner up with Desiree. He cannot. He cannot.
You know what I mean?
Not get it
twisted.
But yes, they are supposed to be your best friend.
Because we're gonna live with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
you know what's weird? When we started dating, like I moved in a month after, and I know that was like a what the hell, you know? But it was like it worked for us, and like we didn't get married until 5 years later, but it worked for us, and like it's like okay, like this is how it was supposed to go for us, and it's like okay, yeah, he is my best friend because I want to tell him everything, you know, and I'm like okay, but yeah, it's just when you find somebody like that, and it's cool because it's like damn. The hell was I doing? But you wouldn't appreciate them if it wasn't for the bad experiences.
True.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I think definitely not at the beginning of your healing journey. Like you need to focus on yourself because how do you give full energy to your own healing if you're having to entertain somebody else and consider their feelings or their time? But I think like once you figure out what works for you to you know on this healing journey, maybe but also it has to be somebody that's on the same level, you know, somebody that's also worked on their mental health or even acknowledges mental health, because what if somebody doesn't, you know, what if somebody doesn't believe in that and you're like what?
Big red flag.
Well, I had like when I was dating, I had like a screening process almost where it was like, I know it's going into our other question, but it was like I was on dating apps and it was good to see, you know, the the range of, you know, like the I think like with the quality of men. So and by that I mean like someone that had like I don't know. I have a list. Like I have a list, like a manifest list, not like a you have to make all these things. This is what I want in a man, you know. And it's more like values, more like if we're gonna be on the same like mental health, you know, like we are for therapy and we're for you know, like I want to make sure they're healing too. You know, and they're not, if they don't say that on their bio, then it's like skip, right? And then so most guys will put on there that, you know, really are serious, that they'll put, you know, like going through therapy or whatever on their bios, and those are the ones that, you know, I was dating and I was talking to and stuff. And and it's completely different. Because some of these guys, like they would, say something on their phone and completely different.
Oh no!
Yeah,
False advertising.
That's what I was gonna say. That's why I don't like dating apps. Is because it's advertising yourself, so you're gonna put all your good stuff out there, right?
Highlight reel,
the right angles.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing we're in the dating app question now.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
I never got on dating apps.
You're lucky.
And it's funny because
what's that like?
What's that like?
I don't know. Tell me what dating apps
The good
are
old
like.
days.
And it's funny because they started to like pop off when I left California because one of my friends met somebody, and I'll never forget because we all went like as a group because she was like, come with me to meet this guy, and we're like, okay. And it was like on Valentine's Day, but she was like, I don't want to go by myself, so we went with her. She ended up marrying this guy.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so they've been together for a while now, probably as long as me and Fernando have been together. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, they've been together, and it was like, okay, like they do work out. You know, it's just having to find the right one.
Find the right one for sure.
Yeah, I know. Me and Fernando are like, oh hell no, we hope we don't ever have to go on dating apps. Like he's like, I'm glad we met before that. And I'm like, no, thank you.
Like you said, it's an advertisement. Like you have to advertise yourself and you have to promote yourself and you gotta, like it's exhausting.
But do you guys think they're good or bad?
I wish we didn't have that option.
Same here.
Yeah.
Because you meet a lot of liars and you meet a lot of people that you're just like, what the fuck? Like, are you sure this is your number? Like, are you sure this is you? You know, because and you know me, like I like to exaggerate. So like there was this one guy, and I remember he was like Puerto Rican, and he was real cool. Like we were texting, like he was real cool, and his pictures they were okay. Like he looks good looking guy. When I met him, we met at a bar. But when I met him, he was like half of the height. And height is not an issue for me now. Yeah. You know, like, but maybe before, you know, you're in that. Yes. Oh, I want this and I want that. 6'1", and it's like, yeah. Now I'm like, hell no, those motherfuckers are liars.
No, we're not.
I'm just kidding, Max. He's like 6'3". No, but yeah, like this guy was like, you know, like he looked good on paper. He was all right.
He catfished you.
He was all right. And then I remember going into the bar, and I'm like, I text him, I'm like, hey, I'm here. He's like, okay, cool. I'm here. I'm at the bar. And I'm like, okay. So I make the round, right? And I'm like, what the fuck is he at? Am I at the right bar? Because it was at the bar on the one that has like a lot of bars. Like it's called BAR.
Oh, the bar.
The bar or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different locations, right? So I was like, shit, did I go to the wrong one? And then he's like, no, I'm right here. He's like, I'm right here. And then he's like saying it out loud. And I'm like, the fuck? And I was like, there's no fucking way that's you.
Wait, did he lie? He lied about his height?
His whole appearance.
Wait,
he was like a completely different guy. Oh my like completely different. Like he had filters on that thing where
shit.
like filters. Yeah. And I couldn't tell, and I'm not good at telling either. And I didn't have filter on my pictures, and maybe that's why, you know, but because I don't know how to use them. Yeah, but he was not the same guy. And then I said that, and then like because
you literally told him?
Yes, because he was like more like, let's see, man. He looked like in his pictures, he kind of looked like a little bit like Usher, kind of like a little bit. But not really. And on the pictures, he was not the same guy. Not the same guy.
He was Nusher.
He was Nusher.
Nusher.
He was an Usher.
He was. No, yeah.
He was a Timu Usher.
And you know what? And then I was just like, you know what? Like, because he was so funny. He was a really good guy. Like, I wish we would have been friends. Lady, go. Then I was like, you lying sack of shit, right? Like we said, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have you buy me a drink. Like we're gonna talk about this, right? And then I was like, what the fuck was that? Like you know you don't look like your pictures, right? And he's just like, well, I mean, it's kind of hard because like, you know, like people don't want to like talk to you, you know, because they. And I was just like, you're not a bad looking dude. I was like, but don't lie. Like, okay, first of all, this is not going anywhere. Like you need to know this is not going anywhere. I was like, but you're so cool. Like, let's just fucking chill. And he's like, okay, cool. So we had like a couple drinks and, that was it. Like, that was the last time I talked to him. But
blocked.
Yeah, I was just like, no, like, liar. Like, so. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
I have stories.
I just don't like him because I think there's too many options for you out there.
Yeah.
Like, you can go on a date with somebody, like Lisa did. Like, her next. She's an ex. But that's what happens a lot. Yeah, you didn't like him, right? But that's just that my thing is like, there's too many options out there. It's like you get optioned sometimes, right? I think that's what happens to me sometimes. Like, I talk like to somebody and they're just like, oh well, you're not the best, right? So I got my options.
Yeah, well, like, I don't know. I know before when I was in the dating scene, because I did try dating apps 2 years ago. 2 years ago?
Are you dating now?
I am not. No.
High five.
Yay, I know. So when I was on them, I feel like everybody had a lot of options. Like they weren't talking to just you. Like people do that, and that's like, what the fuck? They're talking to multiple people, and it's just like they're going down the list. Okay, no, you didn't work out. Okay, here's the next one. And it's like, oh no. See, that's why I'm not on dating apps anymore. I'm gonna meet my soulmate in the grocery store. Like I told you.
At the library.
Right?
So you go to the grocery store a lot?
A lot. Yeah. Like,
Should I post it up?
no, I'm not out there looking for a man. Okay.
There's like grocery stores. Yeah, there's grocery stores that like people look really good. Like they get ready to go.
Your sister told me about the Smiths by her.
That's
she
the
used
one
to
I'm
live.
That's what I'm talking about. The Smiths on Southern Highlands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm in that neighborhood all the time. But
That's
well, okay. Well, I go to Vaughn's. I don't like Smiths, so no.
Oh my gosh, how funny. Side note, if you guys hear heavy breathing, it's not any of us. Lady Lisa's dog is here down here.
And it's her birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Insert a picture of Lady, babe. It's her birthday. She's so cute. Yeah. What did I didn't do dating apps, but I did like date a few guys that I met on Instagram. Like we were just like friends because of like D knows who.
Oh yeah.
But just because of like sports, like we were like all get into like fan groups or whatever, or like all this stuff. But it didn't work out. But it was like, okay, that was a way of dating somebody. Like you like somebody's picture, you like put heart eyes or whatever under. And like I feel like that was a form of like dating apps before dating apps hit. And so I was like, okay.
I think that was the better way to do it though.
Hey. Like, hey. But this is but do you look like this without a filter? Let me see. Let me FaceTime you right now, because don't be putting no filters.
Yeah. FaceTime.
That's how the catfish people catch people, right? They were like, they'll be like, oh, my FaceTime doesn't work. My
I don't have connection for that movie, that show, Catfish.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like, oh, I can't FaceTime. I don't get good reception here. You're like, you better go to the library.
You said red flag. We see him more now.
Yeah, for sure. For
a
sure.
lot more.
Same here.
Yeah. What are red flags for you guys?
Lying, for sure. Lying about
about your culture.
Yeah,
just
like
being
what else?
like mean.
Oh,
like,
being mean.
Yeah, so that's a big one for me.
Being like nasty to like the servers and all that for sure.
Yeah.
That's 100%. Like
not being kind.
I will walk out.
Just snapping, like
like
you say something and it's just what. What the fuck?
That's a reactive.
Yeah,
like,
reactive.
Oh, you need healing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's almost like do you guys see old you, like before you started healing in people? Like,
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, like things that you guys would do. Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Huh. And then probably the people you guys dated before. I'm trying to say, like, when you were on the other end, do you think people realize that, or were they not healing either?
They were not healing
they were
either.
the same. So it was like normal for them too.
They're not healing.
Wait, what do you mean?
like the red flags that like how we're saying that people are reactive.
Yeah,
and you were reactive back then.
Yes.
Like yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
You got me thinking back. Whole day ruined by 9 a.m.
Oh my god!
Right? Like that shit is not normal.
No,
right? But it's like who, like the
somebody's jealous.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I'm like Go now. Go on. Like no. Yeah.
9 a.m.
Not for real. That for real. Like I don't miss that shit. But I'm like now now that I think of it though, like my past relationships were all like that, like toxic. But I mean, I was toxic too.
Same here.
Yeah, we were both toxic, and it's like now, I'm like, I want no parts of anything. Like, what are you mad for? Something little? Like, no, you're gonna let that ruin your whole day. Like, oh, we were having a good day. Now you're gonna ruin it. Like, no, no, thank you.
I like to say, like, I took myself out of the vicious dating cycle because there's like people that do not heal. They get out of a relationship and they jump to the next one.
Oh my gosh, yes, I can't with those people.
Oh my,
right?
they're the worst. Like, I like to call them the warm body seekers. Like that's what I feel like they are to me. They're just like,
on to the next
body. And they take the energy from you.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel that a lot. Like, go heal, damn it.
Yeah. Like the people who can't be alone.
Yes.
Like you need to work on yourself.
Yes.
Like you need to learn to be alone. Because if you can't be alone with yourself, like what the hell are you doing? Like how are you ever gonna find better?
My recommendation would be to anyone would be get to know yourself.
Yes.
Fall in love with yourself. Fall in love with what you like, what you don't like, what you could stand, what you absolutely will not stand for. Do they have kids? How old are their kids? Like what kind of, like
a whole nother episode.
Like this is like it has to be like that because your life is different. Our lives are different, So
speaking about kids, since Lisa and Dee both have one kid. How is that with dating people? Like, do you date people who don't have kids? Do you date people who do have kids? Does it matter to you guys? Like,
do you want to go?
Go ahead.
She looks like she got a lot to say.
It was never a problem if they I don't think I clicked on that, like if they have kids or if they don't have kids it's a problem. Like I think I was open to both because I only have one child, so I just thought, never know, you never know what can happen, right? And
I forgot that was an option on dating apps.
Preferences and stuff.
Because it's like I put, obviously I put my daughter first, you know, so you have to think about so much, like dates, times of dates,
and that's one thing that I know I've told a couple people, like if you're gonna date somebody who has kids, you have to realize that you come second. You don't come first.
Yes,
you come second.
Yes.
Right, because that kid was here. Yeah, that kid was here. That kid was here before you. You know, and then so it's like you have to be able to be okay with that,
and it has to be on both ends too. You know, like I want to make sure that he has love for his kids and he's going to take care of his kids, and not put me first and put his kids first because. What kind of man, like,
what kind of dad is that?
That's a no for me, you know?
That's on the list.
That's on the list. And it's little things like that that makes a difference. That makes a difference.
Absolutely. For me, well, maybe kids, like, I have one kid. One. So maybe 2 kids. At the most, no kids, is fine too. And I feel like if their kids are younger than my kid, it's no.
Like, because that means you have to step in and assist in raising.
Yeah, and I don't want no parts of that. And then how you said that they come second, no, my child first, then me, then the person third. Yeah, which is like for me right now, that's why I'm not dating. Like I'm happy with my routine, the way my life is right now, just me and my daughter, and I'm like, I don't even think I have room to even put somebody else in my life like that. Like I'm happy where I'm at, and it's just like, do I really want to do that?
No.
Like
keep doing
now,
what you're doing.
Yeah,
keep doing what you're doing.
no,
It's
and like I think back, right? Like so I started dating 2 years after my divorce, and now I think back, I'm like, girl, what were you doing? You were married for what, 6 years, and then okay, yeah, you worked on yourself, and you weren't talking to anybody or anything for 2 years, and then you decided to try it. But really, like, you should have not, like, maybe later on when it's not just all about my daughter.
But then you
I'm
didn't
like,
know either. So
yeah,
it's like you kind of had to have those little like,
well,
oh shit, no, I'm not ready.
yeah, like I dipped my toe in, and I was like, nope. Yeah, for real. Well, because before, like, there wasn't dating apps. So like before I was married and with that person, it was like normal dating. Like, oh, hey, like maybe it was Facebook, I don't know, but not really. But it was just like, oh, let me get your number. And then when I dipped my toe in the dating pool, it was like, oh, do you have Snap? Do you have Instagram? What?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like asking for my phone number is too much? What? Like, no.
That's interesting.
But so that's where I stand with that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I definitely do you won't meet my child until
that was my other question.
A certain amount of time, depending on our relationship too. And Max and I chose that we're gonna wait until it's 6 months, and I met his kids at 6 months. He did meet my daughter a little sooner, only because she was older and she asked. She's like, Mom, can I meet him? Like, I know about him. I see you're very happy. Like, I wanted to make sure she caught that without me saying anything, without me, like him and I were just dating, and we would see each other when we could. Yeah. Sometimes it would be like a week or two in between. No, I don't think it was ever 2 weeks, but it's that's how it is, right? And she was like, no, I want to meet him. I want to see him. And, and right away she was like, he's a nice guy. He's nice, Yeah. And so I was like, okay, and we just met at the park, and it was really casual, really like light and stuff. And I met his kids at 6 months for sure. And, and we have our issues, because different parenting, different, and his ex-wife is a mom, and my ex-husband, like all the
the co-parenting.
the co-parenting. Like, I have a very good co-parenting with my ex and I, because we both come to a realization that it's just about her, that there's absolutely nothing there between us, and it hasn't been anything for years and years and years, so it's like, I think after we accepted that there was like nothing, and it was just about her, like him and our relationship grew because we are able to share and be happy about it, and not like talk shit about each other, or talk shit to her about him or her, or whatever. It was always like real, like open and real, like, well, we're still a family, and Max understands that, like, hey, like, this is still the father of my child, and but at the same time, it's like I have to respect that his ex-wife is the mother of his kids, too, and I'm not trying to add anything there, because it's not my place, and it's not like, and I met his ex-wife, and a couple times, and she's super nice, beautiful girl, and I shouldn't say girl, lady, or woman, but it's not about anything. It's not high school. It's not drama. There's no. It's just. It's good.
Cool. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, when do you guys, like, at what point do you, if you, because then there's the questions of, oh, if they're younger, like, oh, what happened? Oh,
Yeah.
where's so and so? And then what was the other one? There was something else that I wanted to ask.
Mine is younger, and I would say a year.
Oh, okay, a year.
Yeah,
because she'd be asking questions.
No,
but I'm just very protective of who I bring around her, and not just people I'm dating either. That's with friends or whatever. Like I'm very.
Yeah.
She's not out here with everybody. I'm not out here with everybody. So
yeah. I know whenever, like, I never brought anybody around that I was dating, like, even around the kids, like my sister's kids, because I was like, no, then they're gonna be asking for them, and they're like, oh, here's this new guy, like, no. So, like, most of the kids, so me and Fernando have been together for 10 years, so, like, most of their lives, he's been there, like, they know him, that's their tío. But yeah, so I was like, okay. I guess I picked a good time because I ended up married. But, oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I was wondering about co-parenting. Like, how do you deal with that? Like, if you see that, like, they have drama with their co-parent, is that a...
red flag?
Yeah, is that a red flag?
Absolutely.
Is that a non-negotiable? Like, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
But at the same time, they might not know. And I'll make sure that this is okay to, before this airs. So
yeah, like 3 weeks.
we have talked about it. Where if I see anything, I'll say, hey, like, are you aware that it's coming off like this? And I'm not trying to get in your business, but this can like relieve stuff, right? So he steps back and he's like, oh my gosh, like you just...
Because you have the mom perspective.
Yeah,
of it.
Exactly.
Oh,
and I'm
okay.
like, wait. Like, what is she doing? Or what's going on? Like, what's the situation before you jump and say no? Because you and I are flexible. We can, but at the same time, don't let her take advantage either, because our time is our time. And our time is like very limited.
Yeah.
So like our time is our time. So we put those boundaries.
That's good. Yeah. Interesting. Oh. What about you, Rene?
Dating with
do you date people with kids?
Yeah. I like Dianna said though, like there's a max 2.
A maximum 2? Okay.
Yeah.
Like babies or like older or like...
I prefer older, but it just depends on the person too, right? Like when I started dating Marilyn, her baby was like 11 months.
Oh my god!
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
11 and 3.5 or 4, so they're babies.
Yeah. Oh dang! Wow. So let's see. Trauma, mistakes to avoid, and healthy strategies. Unresolved trauma is the #1 most common yet under-recognized obstacle that I see stopping singles from finding lasting love, hands down. That's interesting. It's their unhealed traumas that they're... Let's see what else. I'm reading from an article. It says... So this is from Dating While Healing from Trauma.
Jessica Ingle.
Oh, Jessica Ingle. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. So this lady says, as a trauma survivor, dare I say thriver, and trauma-informed dating therapist. Oh, wow. With over a decade of experience, I'm no stranger to I'm sorry, what is that? Herculean efforts that's required to build loving relationships after abuse, betrayal, and other blows to the heart. So take heart, fellow survivor. Though challenging, finding healthy love after trauma is possible with the proper support and tools. That's what this article is all about. I never thought about that. Like, people who have gone through trauma, like, how do you date after that? And especially if it's like childhood trauma, like you don't even realize especially if it's like suppressed trauma. You don't even realize that you have trauma, and then something in a relationship triggers it, and you don't even know why. You know, like you're upset or you're something, and you don't even know why. Is it's like something small or something, but it's because it's triggering something that you don't realize that you haven't dealt with. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Finding the proper support. I think that's important. Let's see. I also think it's important to not take issues or like not insecurities, but like issues from past relationships into the new relationships, because I personally would do that where I didn't trust Fernando, and it had nothing to do with him. It was just the people that I dated before I couldn't trust, and they proved to me that I shouldn't trust them. Okay, so this says over 40% of adults have experienced trauma, which can profoundly influence dating patterns and relationship dynamics. Though trauma shapes our interactions and self-perceptions, healing is possible, and the survivors can find love post-trauma. Mindful dating, understanding trauma signs, and prioritizing self-care are crucial in the journey to healthy relationships post-trauma. After trauma, returning to the dating scene requires patience, self-awareness, and a balance of challenge and self-care. Some key points to remember: work with trauma-informed therapists who understands dating dynamics. Develop an exposure hierarchy to reintroduce yourself to dating slowly. Take small steps and celebrate your progress. Avoid pitfalls like sharing traumas too soon or mistaking shared trauma for compatibility. Don't be trauma bonding with people. Trauma
bonding, that's in this book too.
Engage in mindful dating, recognizing and addressing trauma symptoms, and taking breaks as needed. View dating as a healing journey, practice self-compassion, and strive for personal growth. Now it's time for the deep card. Deep card. But yeah.
Oh, this is cute. How has your relationship with your siblings evolved throughout your life through today?
Why are you making a face, Rene?
Because mine is funny. Let me see if you want to go first, but I'll go first.
Ahead. Yeah, you are already talking.
My sister, we used to hate each other. Well, she used to hate me. You guys remember? And now we're like best friends.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, now I talk to her about everything. She knows the story from 2 weeks ago.
Oh my God, how funny.
Me and her are best friends, and
Yeah, I remember you guys, were not like that at all growing up. Well, I mean, she was my confidant, and you were a jerk.
She's like, beat his ass.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not taking pictures.
Oh my gosh, how funny. I think mine goes in like waves. Like for a while, me and Dee were a couple of sisters because like all of our cousins, like we would go out with like Abby and her boyfriend, and Erica and her boyfriend, and that was only Jay-Z. She only had one boyfriend. Shout out to Jay-Z. And then it would just be me and Dee. Like we would go out and we're like, well, we're a couple of sisters. Like you guys are all couples and we're a couple of sisters. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that.
We would hang out and go out and party and stuff. And then when I got a DUI and lost my license, Dianna would drive me around everywhere. She was
I just so happened to get my license when that happened. So I mean,
perfect timing.
Universe? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and my older sister, I feel like as we got older, our relationship got better. Because there was 7 years difference between us. So yeah, I probably never lets me forget that I ruined their fun when I was born because
oh my God.
Don't issue me.
Because now I was there and now Melissa didn't get all the cool stuff that she used to get.
The Snoopy ice cone maker. I remember that.
Yeah. And then at some point,
so funny.
100% transparency, I was a little bit jealous of Melissa and Diana's relationship because they're like mother-daughter and they're so close. And then it was like, well, what about me? I ain't got nobody. Like, hello, I'm in the middle, you know? But yeah, that's where my relationships are now. So, what about you guys, Lisa and D?
Mm-hmm.
Well, me with Melissa, it's great. I mean, it's the same, like you said, mother daughter. Like that's like honestly, I'm more scared of her than my mom. Like, yes.
What's the age difference between you and Melissa?
11 years.
11 years.
Wow. Really?
Like even when I go visit her, I feel like I'm one of her kids. Like me and my daughter are like added to the family when we're there.
It does feel like that though,
right? But in us, ours has grown a lot more. Like you said, we used to party together, and now we heal together. We work with each other, or work on each other by each other's side. Like we.
Oh, that's so dope.
We're like a little family.
Yeah.
I know. I love when we get invited to do stuff at her daughter's school, because then it's like me and Fernando and my mom and my dad. Like we're at like her games and stuff. We're like all there, cheer squad. Yeah, that's my bracelet.
Oh, I love that.
Yep. What about you, Elise?
I don't know if it's because my brother and I, Manny, have 7 years apart too, and he's a guy, so you know we didn't really. We grew up together, but you know he was older, so and he was out of the house, in and out of the house, like you know throughout his life. So, I didn't experience that I remember. You know, there's certain things that you remember, parties and little things like that. But, with my sister, we weren't as close when we were little. We're 4 years apart. I don't know. We just didn't really click. We didn't really have anything in common. We were different.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was weird. It was until we got older, we're adults, you know, that we got close, you know, and we've been close, and you know, now that she lives in Colorado, it sucks.
Oh, the twins.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been really hard, but I feel like we've gotten stronger too because we talk more on the phone, and I'm not a phone person, so I'm like, oh, but I know when she calls, I'm like, I'll drop what I'm doing to talk to her.
Yeah. It's easier to get hold of Batman than get hold of Lisa.
Oh no! How you said you dropped the phone? Side note: I will stop what I'm doing to talk to Melissa.
Yeah,
and I think that's just because she's in a different state, and I know like she's a mom too, and like her time is super limited, like way limited than mine. So I'm like, I will stop, and my daughter will see me running to my phone. She's like, "Who is it?" I'm like, "It's Nina." Oh, okay. But yeah, I feel because they're in different states. It's like
different states, and they have multiple kids, and you know, like they got a lot going on too. And I know I have a lot going on too, but it's just
for them we'll pause our time to talk to them. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Everybody here has sisters. I just realized. That's funny.
And then Manny, and I'm so close to Manny. I still see him, and you know we still have a relationship and stuff. I think we've gotten closer over the years too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yep. What about you, lady? How's your?
She's like, well, there was one white girl. She still sees her though.
Yeah.
Shout out Kelly.
Kelly. All right, guys. Well, that's our episode. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye. Subscribe.
Oh, yeah. Subscribe.
Like.
Thank you for joining us. If you are in need of any medical assistance, please contact your local provider. If you are having thoughts of suicide, please call the National Suicide Hotline at 988. In case of emergency, call 911. See you next week as we talk about
the things we're not supposed to talk about.